There are some rumors that are floating around about some teams that could improve themselves, including a squad that's looking to cut costs even though they have one of the lowest payrolls in baseball. Meanwhile, you can be wrong on both sides of a topic. I'll explain what I mean by that. And oh yeah, this is one of my least favorite days of the year. What am I talking about? I'm talking about you should be listening to Locked On MLB.
You are Locked On MLB, your daily MLB podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, baseball fans. Welcome to Locked On MLB, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. This is the daily podcast. We talk about all of Major League Baseball. I'm your host, Paul Francis Sullivan. Please call me Sully. And thanks so much for making Locked On MLB your first listen, as we're available on all your free podcasting catchers. And you can follow us on Twitter at Locked On MLB Pods. Same handle for Instagram. I'm your pal Sully. I'm at Sully Baseball on Twitter, Sully Baseball Podcast on Instagram. And if you're listening to us on your smart device, be sure to tell it to play podcast Locked On MLB. It is the first day of April 2022. And this is why this is one of my least favorite days of the year, because this is amateur hour for funny people. I never found April Fool's Day to be funny. April Fool's Day's jokes stink. I mean, maybe when I was, 11, I thought April Fool's Day was kind of funny. It's not. And the publishing of the Sid Finch article in Sports Illustrated might be the only funny thing ever to come out of April Fool's Day. But it's like filled with people posting stuff, news and stuff on social media, and then really, April Fools. Stinks. And if you have something really big to announce, today's the worst day to do it, because no one's going to believe you. No one's going to believe you. I don't like April Fools. I don't like April Fool's Day. Say what you want. I think it stinks. It would be a terrible day for the announcement of this proposed trade between San Diego and Pittsburgh, as they've been kicking the tires on Brian Reynolds to be traded from the Pirates to San Diego, as San Diego does need another bat, especially if they're not going to have Fernando Tatis Jr. for a little bit, because, hey, I'm a potential MVP. Why not ride a motorcycle? Now, Brian Reynolds had a very good season last year, actually a very good season. If you like old-timey stats, he's got the 24 homers, 90 runs batted in, and batting .302. Oh, Sully, I don't like those stats. Those stats are dumb. Well, he had a .912 OPS. Huh? You like that one a little better? His OPS plus was 146. Huh? Do you like that better? Do you like a 6 WAR? I don't know what that means, but a lot of people like stuff like that. He led the league in triples, got 8 of them. He's 26 years old and an all-star in his 3rd season, entering his 4th season in the major leagues, which means, of course, the Pirates can't keep him. Now, I get in theory that they probably are not going to have a contending team this year or the next, so maybe you get really, really good prospects for him. For God's sakes, Pirates, you're 101 loss team, and you're playing in the Central, okay? Brewers are a very good team. Cardinals are good, and then you have the Reds, who are rebuilding, the Cubs, who don't quite know what they're doing yet, and an expanded playoffs. You're trying to tell me you can't even you can't even try to put a mediocre squad out there? I don't understand it. When you have a team like the Pirates, who since 1992 have been relevant a grand total of 3 years. They've had the trip to the division series in 2013, losing the wild card game in 2014 and 2015, and then they had one other winning season in 2018. Boom. Other than that, they've done gotch. Absolute gotch. And here we are, yet again, they're going to the season not even trying. This is what I was hoping the lockout would maybe kind of sort of solve, that maybe you would have to make it, have an incentive to put a major league product on the field. So here's a 101 loss team, and they have a player who was in his prime, in his mid-20s, made the All-Star team. He's not going to be a free agent for a few years. Better trade him. I don't get it. Why have a team if you're not even going to make the effort of putting mediocrity on the field in a division where, yeah, you could potentially win it? And there's another playoff spot. I don't get it. I don't get it. And nothing you can ever say will make me get it. As the Pirates, are still looking for their first trip to the World Series since 1979. Okay. Now the Mariners have never been to the World Series, but you know what? Bless them. They're trying. And it's looking more and more, it looks like Ken Rosenthal was reporting this, that they're looking more and more like a potential trading partner with Oakland to try to get Montas. And, that the fact of the matter is that Frankie Montas is obviously a wonderful pitcher for the Oakland A's. And I have a different feeling about the A's trading away their players than Pittsburgh, because the A's have been relevant. And they also are looking around. They say, do you know what? Our window of our opportunity may have closed. And something I will give the A's credit for is they have gotten a lot of quality back in the trades. That they're filling their farm system up. And this is different than the Pirates just trading away players because they're asking for more than $9.75 an hour. Frankie Montas is under 30 years old, had a solid season last year with Oakland. And while some teams are like, oh, I don't want to trade within our division, it's clear the A's don't care about something like that. And the Mariners, who won 90-some-odd games last year, brought in Robbie Ray, still have a decent rotation. If they could bring him in, then you know what? That may shoot the Seattle Mariners to the front of the picks of the American League West. And as Rosenthal pointed out, the Mariners are loaded with prospects, including 6 top 100 prospects, 100 from all of baseball. That, according to MLB Pipeline, that's along with Miami, that's the most number of prospects in the top 100. They can probably give what the A's seem to be looking for is like a good solid blue chipper and then some other players to fill up their farm. I don't know if the Yankees can pull that off. I don't know if St. Louis could pull that off. I don't know if the White Sox could pull that off. All these other teams that are looking for this trade. This may be the kind of move that gives the Mariners the pitching depth they need and could put them over the top in the American League West. Now, of course, the Astros are the defending American League West champs. I'm going to get to Astros and their fans in our second segment. But an intriguing thing is happening with the Houston Astros, and it's kind of like a trade. As last year, Justin Verlander was injured, and he did not. I think he only pitched in the truncated season of 2020. I believe he only pitched one game. In fact, I'm going to go to baseballreference.com, the single greatest website in the history of the planet Earth. He has not pitched since pitching one game in 2020. He didn't pitch last year. When we last saw him was 2019, and a lot of things were different in every aspect of the planet Earth. But he was the Cy Young Award winner that year. I would have given it to Cole, but the award was a coin toss. He was a workhorse. Of course, he was injured for 2020, missed all last year, but he looks pretty good in spring training. Now, granted, how old is Justin Verlander right now? He's 39 years old. But that being said, a pretty good Justin Verlander. I'm not thinking they're going to get great Cy Young contender Justin Verlander, but if they get pretty good Justin Verlander on that squad, that's like making a trade. That's like adding a big piece in the puzzle. And let me tell you something. That's the sort of thing that the Astros are going to need to make them a sure bet to win the American League West again. And hey, if you're going to be making any bets, let's talk BetOnline. After months of playing, college basketball has determined the top teams for the Final Four, which includes UNC versus Duke. I don't follow college basketball, but I know this is Coach K's final game. This is going to be a huge, even I'm going to pay attention to this one. National champion is going to emerge. BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs and sports info. From all the latest odds, contests, and players' props, you name it, BetOnline remains the best spot for your latest sports developments, including podcasts and reviews for all the leagues this season. It's not just baseball and basketball. It says basketball. I'm thinking baseball. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sport wagering information needs, including live betting and your favorite Las Vegas casino games. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline, that's where the game starts. Hey, we were talking about the A's picking up tons of prospects and the Pirates trading for prospects. If you want to know about some of those prospects, here's the show you got to listen to. It's called Locked On MLB Prospects, and host Lindsey Crosby, who's a friend of this show, is a prospect encyclopedia, and he's going deep in the MLB stars of tomorrow. It's free and available wherever you get your podcasts. Okay. Sometimes you can hear an issue, and there are two sides to the issue. And you can walk away and say, both of you are wrong. I know you're on opposite sides of a topic, but somehow you're both wrong. And sometimes you can have two people on opposite sides of a topic, and you can say, do you know what? You're both right. How's that possible? It is possible because life is more nuanced than simply you're right, you're wrong. Sometimes opposite ends can both be correct, and sometimes they can both be wrong if we break it down a little bit. I'm going to do that right now. Brian Cashman started talking about how he kind of rolls his eyes at the fact when people say that the Yankees haven't been in the World Series since 2009. Now, right from the beginning, it's very clear we're dealing with a new form of reality, because I can prove in a court of law that the Yankees have not been in a World Series since 2009. But I sit back and I say, go on. And basically, it was Brian Cashman calling out the Astros for the cheating scandal of 2017. And he was saying that, we did it the right way. And let's see some of these quotes, because this is I've trashed Brian Cashman a lot on this show. And you are rightfully so, freaking so. And I don't understand his defenders. And I don't understand how the blame never goes to him, ever. And here's a classic example saying, I built the World Series winning team. Okay. And the only thing that stopped us was something so illegal and horrific, the banging of the trash cans. Horrific is not a word I would choose, but hey, I don't know. Maybe it was said with tongue in cheek. I get offended when I start hearing we haven't been to the World Series since 2009. You know what? Yankee fans are offended when people say that too. Do you know why? Because they haven't. Because I'm like, we actually did it the right way, pulled it down, brought it back up, drafted well. Did you? Traded well. Did you? Developed well. Okay. Do you know what? I'll grant you. For someone who is always trashing Brian Cashman, I will grant him that the team that he put together in 2017, 18, and 19 was a pretty good team. They won 100 games one of those years. They won one of those divisions. They got to the League Championship Series twice. And yes, the Astros were cheating in 2017. And who are we kidding? They're also cheating in 2019. And yes, the Red Sox were cheating in 2018. So yeah, I understand there's a little bit of frustration there when you say, hey, the three teams that eliminated us were not playing on the level. Okay. But you still didn't get to the World Series. Nor did you get to the World Series in 2020 when you're playing the Rays. And you didn't get to it last year when they were playing the Red Sox. And they didn't get in any other year between 2009 and last year. So if you want to have a chip on your shoulder for what happened then, fine. But also remember that they lost key games that were not being, that were, throughout all those regular seasons that were not against the Astros. They didn't lose to the Astros cheating in 2020 when they lost and managed horribly the playoff series against Tampa Bay. This just seems like a ton of sour grapes. Okay? And it doesn't exactly give you a sense of confidence if you're a Yankee fan if Cashman's doing victory laps for pennants he hasn't won. Oh, and by the way, there have been lots of rumors and grumblings about the fact that the Yankees weren't always playing things on the up and up either. They better hope no envelopes are opened, okay? They better hope that we don't find out there was no Apple Watch things or anything like that, or that they were doing some of the shenanigans that the 2018 Red Sox were doing. I throw that in for all the people saying, oh, he's a native New Englander and he grew up loving the Red Sox. I always throw the 2018 Red Sox under the bus. Okay? Now, the fact that he wants that, that the fire that's burning in him is basically saying, I already did the job. Yeah, I already did it. And I just find that to be absolutely ridiculous. And the antithesis of everything you want if you supposedly putting together a winning ball club moving forward. Now, that being so, he's wrong. But I'm seeing several Astros fans, including maybe one or two who host the show in the Lockdown Podcast Network, who are saying that Cashman and the Yankees have to get over it. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on a second, shall we? Hold on. Cashman's dead wrong for trying to do a victory lap for a World Series that he didn't, for a pennant his team didn't win. You may not be happy about how things turned out, but that's how they turned out. Now go win another one. You've had a couple of years since then. You're going into this season with an astronomical payroll and more holes than a Swiss cheese. But Astro fans cannot be the ones to tell someone to get over it. If you're the fan base that has benefited from the cheating, you don't get to tell people to get over the cheating. That's not your place. It's not your place if you're the cheating husband to tell the wife that was cheated upon, hey, get over it and just like some of my new wedding pictures on Instagram. No. You benefited from that cheating. And I do remember certain Astro fans gloating about the fact that the team has won 3 pennants in 5 years when they went to the World Series last year. Well, that means you're still gloating about winning those titles that you know and I know were not won on the up and up. I don't think 2019, of course they were cheating 2019. I mean, and you have to be the biggest Astro homer to not think they were cheating 2019. But we know they were in 2017. And we know they won against the Yankees razor thin, against the Dodgers razor thin. Now, of course, a lot of this could have been solved if the Dodgers held on to that game 2, or if Yu Darvish didn't get lit up in game 7. The effects and the benefits of the cheating were clearer in the Yankee series, where all the home games were won. And we found out that the home team had a very big advantage, an illegal advantage. Okay. That's not under dispute. So if you know that, and you're still going to parade around the 2017 title, you can't tell the other party to get over it. A Met fan can tell them to get over it. A Dodger fan can tell any other fan base except the Astros and the Red Sox. Those two fan bases can't tell Cashman to get over it. Certainly not the Astros. The Astro fans telling him to get over it is so disingenuous. And the only way I will accept Astro fans to say getting over it from Cashman is if you say, okay, we're still waiting for our first World Series title. If you're still going to wear your 2017 shirt, have your banners of the 2017 in your man cave, and start bragging about winning 3 American League pennants in 5 years, then you can't tell someone else to get over it. You can't have it both ways. You can't celebrate the cheating and then tell people, oh, don't call us out for it. No. That's a bunch of garbage. Garbaggio. Stay at the Garbaggio in Las Vegas and play some of those Las Vegas games on BetOnline. No. Any fan base can tell them, except the Astros and the Red Sox for that matter. Because the fan base that benefited from the cheating can't be the one to tell the fan base that was hurt from the cheating to get over it. No, doesn't work that way. Both parties in that are wrong. Cashman's wrong for sour grapes and expecting that to wipe out many of his bad decisions and the fact that they didn't win a pennant in 2010, 2011, or 2012 when they were in the playoffs all those years too. If we can say, oh, it's been 10 years since the Yankees have won a pennant, okay. All right, maybe that's a little bit different. They have won a pennant in the last decade. They haven't. They went through the entire 2010s without going to the World Series. And it wasn't solely because of a trash can being hit. We're now in the third year of the 2020s. Is anybody picking the Yankees to win the pennant this year? Oh, they could. They could. It's not likely. Not with all their holes on a high-budget team that Cashman put together. But it's never his fault. And this was the point I was making a couple of weeks ago. It's never his fault. Ever. I don't get it. You put the team together, Cashman. You got to eventually put one that goes into the World Series. And Astros fans, I hope you love that 2021 team. You know what? Part of me was rooting for the Astros in 2021, well, for three reasons. First of all, I love Dusty Baker. Two, I love Zach Greinke. And three, I wanted them to have a World Series title. So then maybe everyone can get over 2017. Astro fans haven't gotten over it. Yankee fans haven't. But Astro fans can't be the one to call them out. Now, I mentioned that both sides can be wrong about something. Both sides can also be right about something. An interesting thing happened in a college baseball game the other day that a lot of people seem to have been grinding their teeth over. This took place on the 30th, and there was a college baseball game being played between Florida and Florida State. And the home plate umpire was Scott Klein, veteran college umpire. And the batter for the University of Florida, the Gators, kept stepping in and out of the box. Stepped in, stepped out, hears the pitch, he comes out, takes a little walk around, sings the score from My Fair Lady, comes back in, another pitch, takes a cut, comes out, removes his glove, removes his hat, removes his pants, tries on another thing, goes out there, meditates for a while, goes in, takes another pitch, whatever it is. And the umpire warned him, say, stay in the box, don't step out of the box again. Don't step out of the box again. The kid stepped out of the box, does a little practice swing, tries to find the Big Dipper in the sky, tries to remember who won Best Actor in 2014 at the Academy Awards, comes back into the box, takes another cut, steps out. And the umpire, Scott Klein, called him out. Called him out because it was an 0-2 count. And then he just went, you're out, strike three. Now, then the University of Florida coach came running out saying, what the F is going on? There was a big argument going on. And a lot of people, including John Boy Media and other people, started saying what a horrible call this was. It was an ump show. And an ump show, for those of you who don't know what that means, is basically when the umpire of the game tries to take over the game, either by making a grandiose ejection or just showing off and delaying the game or picking fights with people in the dugout and everything like that. And a lot of people called it out for an ump show, especially because there was a prolonged argument afterwards. The great irony was that the batter was called out for delaying the game, and then there was a huge delay of game to explain why the batter was called out. Was it an ump show? Yes. Yes, it was. Was it an instance of the umpire taking control of the game, becoming the story of the game? Yeah. How do I know that? Because his name was Scott Klein, and I don't remember the name of the batter who was stepping out from the University of Florida. And people say this is called out for the stupidest call, blah, 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 amateur hour, terrible, and everything like that. All those statements are correct. It was a grandiose, grandstanding, me showing by the umpire. Anyone who says that, I'm not going to disagree with them. You're right. But was Scott Klein wrong? It truly is eye-opening watching baseball games from the 70s. I'm not the good old days were all great guy. Anyone who knows me thinks that the pining for the good old days, whether it's in entertainment, whether it's in politics, whether it's in religion, whether it's in music, whether it's in sports, the pining for the good old days is a fool's errand. We only remember the good stuff. There's lots of bad stuff from baseball in the 70s as well. That being said, watch some of those games. They're on YouTube. You will be stunned how fast the games are. The pace of play. You know the thing that baseball is supposedly working on? The pace of play in those games are rapid fire because of the pauses in between pitches are virtually non-existent. You get the ball, here comes, gets the sign, comes the set, comes the pitch, strike. Gets the ball, gets the sign, comes the pitch, strike. Now look it was fun and quirky when Nomar Garciaparra would step out of the box and quickly adjust his batting gloves and tap his feet, tap his this, because a man's OCD was cool for all of our enjoyment. But now, think of all the times that everyone has to step out of the box. The pitcher has to read the charts and the spreadsheets in his hat. The catcher comes running up in between every pitch. The first baseman comes in and says, hey, by the way, there's a runner on first. You may want to think about that. Okay, thanks a lot. And the stepping out and stepping out and stepping out of the batter's box. Scott Klein did something about it. Did he do it wrong? Did he do it in the wrong way? Maybe. But he did the right thing in a way. Because if that's going to get people from stepping out of the box all the time, I'm kind of for it. In a college baseball game between Florida State and Florida, and unless you follow college baseball really closely, or you are so into the rivalry between the Seminoles and the Gators that you're going to cheer against the other team in every single sport, chances are you weren't paying attention to Florida State versus Florida in yesterday's game, or 2 days ago, whenever it was. So the image of an umpire saying, come on, let's get this game moving. If you're not going to get this game moving, sit down and bring another batter up here. I'm kind of for that. Maybe not the method, but the sentiment. Get in that box. Pitcher, get the ball going. Let's get this game moving. This is not Tony Gwynn stepping out of the box and contemplating which one of his batting titles this is. This is a college player whose name I do not know, nor will ever know, stepping out of the box on an 0-2 count in a 3-2 game between Florida and Florida State. Get in the box. Let's keep this game moving. This is why I'm 100% for a pitch clock. Those of you who think I'm against change and pine for the good old days, I am 100% for the pitch clock. I want the pitch clock to be 20 seconds. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Get down to 20. Get the pitch in. Get that ball back. Start the clock again. If you want a pitcher's visit, fine. You got 20 seconds to run up there, tell the pitcher something, run back and get in the crouch and enforce it. If you're past the 20 seconds and the batter is set and the pitcher's not in the motion, guess what? That's a ball. If you get to 20 seconds and the batter is not in the plate, is not in the batter's box at the plate, that's a strike. That's what happened to the kid. You learn stuff in college. And he just learned to stay in the damn box. Was it an ump show? Yes. Did he do it the wrong way? Absolutely. Did it wind up delaying the game? Yes. Was it silly? Probably. Was he wrong? No. He was right. Both sides were right. Just like in the Cashman Astros fan side, both sides were wrong. And sometimes things are nuanced like that. And that's no joke. That's the honest truth here on April Fools. Hey, I want to point out something. I had some technical issues with an episode that I dropped a couple of days ago. I didn't hear the technical issues, but apparently in a lot of people's feeds, it came out on the YouTube side with a lot of hiccups in the sound. I really apologize for that. I don't know what happened. It came out well beforehand. So, I'm going to move on, but I really, really apologize for any technical glitches in any of the shows, because I want these to be as good as they possibly can. And for that reason, that's why there was no show yesterday, because I had an allergy attack, and you could probably hear it in my voice the previous few shows. And last night I was going to record a show, and my voice just wouldn't let me. And I didn't want to say, so no, I'm not. I didn't want to, basically turn into a growly New York cab driver from a 1940s movie. I wanted to sound like your pal Sully. So what did we learn today? We learned that the Pirates, while they're cheap, they can always be cheaper. The Mariners may have the pieces to put together the team that can go far. Justin Verlander may give the Astros a little boost that they need. Brian Cashman's full of it, but so are Astros fans who are telling him to forget it. And an ump show took place in Florida where the ump may not have been wrong. A lot of things to chew on, and I'm 100% honest in all those. I may be a fool. It may be April, but I'm not into April Fools. By the way, this would have been the 118th birthday of my grandfather, David Sullivan. I don't know if he would have made it that many years. I never knew my grandfather, but I'm very proud of him, as he did many wonderful things, including being the inventor of the spacesuit. That's a little bit of trivia for your didn't know that your pal Sully is the grandchild of the man who invented the spacesuit. So it works. Sometimes you learn some things like that. And you can follow us at Lockdown MLB Pods. Same handle for Instagram. I'm your pal Sully with Sully Baseball on Twitter, Sully Baseball Podcast on Instagram. Covering the bases and being honest with you on April Fools. This is Lockdown MLB. I'm your host, Paul Francis Sullivan. Please call me Sully.